Billy wants to get reelected.
I've got a complaint out on the, Oakwood States.
I'll tell you what, their passion is not very good. It's ugly.
I haven't heard that one up there.
It'll pick up.
There was one meeting during, when I had COVID, and I could hear everybody.
What color is that shirt, Aaron?
Papers. I was like, oh my gosh.
It's live now.
They'll see, baby.
I would call that salmon. That's be salmon color. Salmon. What's the word?
See if Thomas was on the camera. I'll give him just a second.
Somebody plus that.
And this is the name.
Put me on the internet so I can download it.
Should be on.
I'm gonna link up automatically once I've got it going.
So it's showing we're connected.
This looks like a street.
I can't get on the internet.
Just got a flash up.
Kick mine off, too. Bill, you're on yours link up automatically?
Yeah. Well, I don't know what it is.
Password.
It's showing that you're there. See if it will do it now. It's not showing my password.
My phone's not working.
I'm using it off my hotspot on my phone. That way I don't have trouble.
That's how it works.
This will run.
No. Paul, it's not like see, I don't know mine. I'm impressed.
Just something to help back him to get him to go ahead and pull 10,000. That way they're just not getting off his work.
Mine was slow upstairs. I just clicked on my hotspot.
He's got, they've got it.
Because I can't get it to work. And that's what I do. Trying to get on the internet. I just use my
Hey,
hotspot.
buddy, solve the problem on the
We
little
spoke about this, it looks like it's already
We present this tonight.
Hit that gavel.
Hear about everything, it'll just be
That's
presented.
what she's saying, August, first though,
Yeah,
September.
but you will discover tonight whether it's the county, all we need is 6 votes, so if they're here tonight.
Buddy, you clear?
Now it's back to me.
Aaron?
Very soon I will be.
Okay.
He's been trying to get his iPad to work for 3 hours.
Well, it was running slow earlier, but
Tell your daddy.
Mine's connected.
Fine.
No problem.
mine is too. It's off my hotspot on my phone.
Yeah.
The county.
It's working.
I'd say,
Camera's ready.
There's a newspaper lady back tonight. Where's the new guy?
We really wanted to do it.
Oh,
Position.
I have fought for
welcome
y'all
back.
for almost a year. It's not in my district. And y'all just, I don't know.
Did you get it loaded up, buddy?
I think we just put some plans around it.
You need to use my hotspot? I tried mine.
It's kudzu out there.
Go ahead.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna call the Loudon County Commission Workshop to order for July 17th, 2023. We have no zoning changes on the agenda, so we'll start off with public comment. Wait more.
Somebody ahead of me.
No, that was I'm not mentioning that.
That's Adam.
That's Adam.
Me? Good afternoon. Whoa, that mic does work well, even though it's down low. Thanks to the commissioners, chairman, mayor, and guests here tonight for the opportunity to speak again regarding an information desert in our community. I decided to say it in a workshop this time, because hopefully I can get somebody to listen, but we have a communications issue in our county, and I think everybody knows that. I think everybody's agreed to it. Quite honestly, the problem is I don't think we're doing anything about it. If you look at long-term planning from a budget perspective, I just attended the budget meeting. I mean, and I know it's just one of many, but I don't hear a lot of talk about 1 year, 5 year, 10-year budget planning, especially for capital projects. Or at least I don't, if I'm not at the meeting, I don't see it online anywhere where I can see what's going on. When we look at the Thrive project that was done, gosh, last year, and again now, and if you look at one of the pages in the book that I think Jack handed out, it says, describe your vision of Loudon County in the next 10 years. And there's a lot of great bullet points there, but we don't talk about it. I don't hear people talking about it in our community about what that's going to look like. One of the most important points that I see on there is that we maintain a small community atmosphere while growing quality businesses and improving educational opportunities, but followed by maintain and improve our attractiveness as a community and destination without jeopardizing our fiscal health. Adam and I have talked about the challenges associated with our solid waste, although Adam is doing a lot of great work there now, and I think that's making some progress. But the new school that we heard about, we bought land for, I haven't heard anything lately about that. I've not seen anything on the website about that. Are we gonna do the new school? If we do a new school?
It's on my website this morning. We just bought it.
Not the county website, excuse me.
Can't help you there.
New school planning, if we're gonna do a new school, I've said it before, our student-to-teacher ratio is among the lowest in the state of Tennessee. I know we have open enrollment, I won't get into that whole issue now, but I think if we're gonna do that, that's going, my opinion is gonna require a property tax increase if we're going to do that. So again, not a lot of conversation about that. The new county website, again, a lot of the information I get it from Mr. Shaver's website. I know we all got together, several people in the county got together and we're supposed to look at the bids that came in. I know I submitted my information, there was a deadline of June 30th, I don't know if everybody else has submitted theirs or not. All of these things that I look at, and I keep mentioning it during these meetings of what is our communication plan, how are we communicating with the community? You guys do a great job, but the problem is getting it from here, from your collective minds, into the community just doesn't work right now. Thank you.
Thank you. That was the only public comment signed up by Mr. Moore. Jack Walls, you're up.
Thanks for having me here this evening. I have passed out the Thrive County strategic plan. I'll discuss that in a minute. But what I'm here tonight to discuss really is the annual fiscal confirmation for the 3-star program. This is something we bring to the county commission every year. Basically, it's to make sure, it's a checklist, if you will, to make sure the county has an audit committee, debt management policy, annual cash flow forecast, and confirmation of internal controls. So basically, this is something that's required for the state of Tennessee to be part of the 3-star program. And again, it's something we ask every year for commission to review and approve.
You're asking for a vote for a next commission meeting?
That's correct.
The August 7th, we'll put it on there.
So as part of the 3-star program, every year, every 3 years, we go through goals and objectives and strategic planning sessions. And as of the last one, we decided to come up with the economic development plan. This is basically the economic plan that we came up with. I've passed them out here tonight, and I think these folks were part of the 685 public comments, as well as there was over, I think, close to 50 or 100 business comments. Those comments were vast majority of them were, what would you like to see our community in 5-10 years, as well as talk about your community, tell the story of your community, what makes it Loudon. And so there's a lot of stuff that went into this. I encourage you to take a look at it. I'm not going to go page by page tonight, but I do want to hit a couple of high points. if you have time tonight, I'd love to. We had 2 public hearings. I think Mr. Shaver was actually came to one of them. And so the survey, is going through, it's asking a set number of questions and then comparing it with data. And I think one of the big things, it did a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, threats, and opportunities. And so one of the things it identified as a threat is basically the median age in Loudon County is 47.8 compared to 40 in Knoxville metropolitan area. With the 32% of the population in Loudon County is over the age of 55. That's eye-opening, folks, especially if you're in the recruitment business for manufacturing jobs. It's hard to recruit manufacturing jobs if 32% of your population is over 55. So that was a big one that stepped out. It also talked about housing. Just the whole section here about housing. The majority of our housing stock in Loudon County was built in 1990. 21% of the occupied housing in Loudon is renter occupied, which is also renter burden, which means that their percentage of their income is over 30% toward housing. The other part about that is that the rental rates were operating at 98% occupied. So one of the other things in here it talks about is the affordability of housing. One of the examples it gives is a single person that is in the education of an annual salary of $41,000 cannot afford a $336,000 home. Basically, they can only afford a $135,000 home. So if you're a single teacher in Loudon County, you cannot afford to live here or own a house here. Another big high point to hit is when you're talking about, it's got a whole section here about retail market. Loudon County is currently leaking out $370 million in leakage of retail throughout the county, going somewhere else. Loudon City has actually gained 30 million, whereas Lenore City has gained 63 million. So whereas the 2 cities are doing pretty good, the rest of the county is leaking out. Some of the other things in this study that talks about, it talks about land use patterns. It talks about the county doing away with PUDs. It talks about 2 different types of scenarios in this plan, where it's conventional growth versus more of a managed growth. I'd encourage you to take a look at that. If you look at a focused growth, where growth happens around the cities where the infrastructure is at, it actually becomes more, the property values are more and it costs less to develop. So that's something I'd encourage you to look at. Other things in this, it actually has a strategy board in the back. It talks about how it has different strategies, the priorities, lead partners, has the lead agencies, and then notes. And so one in here, I just touched a couple of these. Conduct a countywide comprehensive plan. Preserving Loudon County's rural character while accommodating efficient growth will require the county and municipalities to work together. A shared vision throughout the comprehensive land use plan. Good. Another one is expand the urban growth boundary. Like the comprehensive plans, over 20 years old, it should be collaborative efforts to ensure consistency and broad vision of growth for all. So I mean, there's a whole bunch of different scenarios or strategies in here that different agencies, like I said, can take this plan and utilize it, hopefully. Questions for me?
Mr. Chairman, I have just a quick question.
Sure.
A little bit off topic, Mr. Qualls, and I will be just friendly and fair as I can be. My question is back to the last time you were here. Are you participating, or are you still helping in any way Loudon to try to do the annexation of the 400 acres in Hotchkiss Valley?
I'm not here to talk about that tonight.
I don't know what kind of answer that is, but I think by not answering, you answer it. Would it help if you had something from this body saying that we would be highly opposed to any Loudon annexation into Hotchkiss Valley?
I think that request needs to go to the city of Loudon.
Oh, I don't have a problem with that, but I think you're helping them all you can. And since we pay all the bills for you and your help and most everything else, I would think our voice should be pretty strong when we have a conversation
Sir,
with
you
you.
have two members on the EDA board, and that's who I report to, and there's one sitting right there, and there's one sitting right there, so I would ask that if you want to provide information, those two would be your outlet for that, sir.
We'll get that to you, brother,
Thank you.
next meeting.
Okay, next up, I'm on the agenda, and it deals with some issues that Bob Bowman, the county attorney, has sent us regarding policies and procedures handbook. They deal with disabilities and pregnancies, hour of work and pay, computer, telephones, and other electronic devices, travel expense reimbursement. Now, I'm not gonna read them all to you, but between now and August 7th, when we'll have to vote on them, because it requires a vote, I would ask you to read them and be prepared to vote on them August 7th. Chase Randolph.
Thank you, Chairman. Touch on this EDA thing. I'm wanting to form a committee. I've talked to Mayor Harris, and he has put 2 people on the committee. I've asked Commissioner Quillen if she will serve on the committee with myself to review the EDA interlocal agreement between the cities. Reached out to Mayor Akins. He is not willing at this time to put 2 people from Lenore City to come to the table to talk about it. And so that's his decision on that. I think it's a good idea. The document hadn't been open since '08. All the signatures on it are people that's dead and people that's no longer currently in office. So I think if we could go through there and maybe find some common ground and get some things worked out. Touching a little bit on what just transpired right there, I believe when you have the director of the EDA standing there refusing to answer a question asked to him by the body that funds 70% of his organization, that's unacceptable. So, we may be at a stalemate here on this thing. I would hope not. Maybe we can find some common ground and be able to move forward. But I don't think this is anything we need to take to a vote. If anybody, has any negative feelings about, trying to sit down and just have a conversation.
I think it's a great idea, Commissioner. It's been looked at for a long, long time. Everybody here knows the details, no need going all through that. We're paying a fortune of money. Since the director got here in 2016, we've sent $1.5 million over there to pay their salaries. We get nothing from it. As you also heard, not only do we not get anything, now we're being damaged by the EDA through annexations, through pilots that we never knew anything about. I would even ask the mayor at this point, did they ever do the annexation down the far end of is it done? Anybody ever sent you a letter about that one yet? See, by law, whoever annexes has to tell the mayor because we have to know what we have to do about it. So we're getting nothing for our money, for our $1.5 million since 2016. I think your committee's a great idea. If Lenore City wants to participate, fantastic.
It's open door if they're willing to come.
Absolutely. And if they don't, then move forward and without them.
I'll notify them when the meeting will be, and if they want to send some people, that would be great.
Who's your committee member?
Rosemary.
And
what?
who else?
That's it.
Just you and Rosemary?
Yeah, for the county, Loudon City, Mayor Harris put Councilman Cardwell and Councilman Webb.
I wasn't sure you was fixing to form this committee and you walk away and let somebody else say
No,
that.
I'm on it. I'm on it.
Now, do you want to put that to a vote on the 7th to establish the committee?
It's an ad hoc, buddy. Do we even need to vote on the ad hoc?
It doesn't hurt anything to put it in, just so we have an official record.
That's what I
It
think.
won't carry an authority, but it looks good on being on the record.
That's what we'll do then.
Well, you and
Especially
Adam
when it
were
comes
the
to
last
litigation.
ad hoc committee that we formed.
We're still ad hoc.
It's a great committee.
Is that the
Planning and zoning,
planning
yeah.
and zoning study committee? We're ad hocing all the time.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, ad hoc means it's for a little while and then it goes away when the job's done, right?
Yep.
Our job's not done.
Great progress, though.
Thanks, Chase.
Commissioner Randolph, I'll put that on August 7th to establish the committee and the people who will serve.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Commissioner Satterfield.
All right, item number 5 deals with financial help to the Little League baseball team in Greenback that has won the honor of representing the state of Tennessee in the World Series, Little League World Series in Mississippi. Once in a lifetime opportunity, and they have been working hard to raise money to go. It's quite an expensive deal, but myself and Commissioner Whitfield want to donate $5,000 each from our ARPA funds to help these folks out. And like I said, that'll be on the next agenda for vote.
Okay, great idea. Congratulations to that Greenback team,
Amazing.
coaches and
There's
parents.
somebody
That's
from
awesome.
Greenback, congratulations.
Them boys done it.
Good.
I'll
How many-
pass it along.
How many is there 12 of them?
So there's 11 boys and one little girl. We
One
got
little
four
girl,
kids,
okay.
Yeah.
And y'all leave the 27th to go to what part of Mississippi?
Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Hattiesburg,
Oh,
Mississippi,
boy.
the 27th.
The state tournament was in Lexington, Parsons. And just the hotels alone for a few days there, just for the kids, was $8,000 or $9,000. So it's,
Well-
you know, this is a once in a lifetime deal. The tournament down there is longer and more expensive, so we appreciate any support y'all can give.
Just-
So we're not travel ball, this is recreation ball, you know, so these parents aren't going into this thinking that they're gonna be traveling every weekend and spending money. So this is our community kids here.
Since this is a World Series tournament, they can't wear their Greenback uniforms. They have to wear uniforms that say Tennessee.
Oh,
So, we have to take care of that. They're excited. I could imagine being, what are they, 10?
No, eight.
Eight,
oh
eight.
my goodness.
8, 9, yeah.
Just, yeah, I go to church with one of them.
That's great.
He's good. Yeah, we hope we'll make that work. We're working through the details of it, along with the,
Have y'all got that work squared?
we're
Worked out?
working on it
Good deal.
I believe so.
with Aaron's help. Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I wish you well at the tournament. Bring the trophy back.
We're gonna try.
We'd like to see it one
We've
night.
never been there, so we don't know what expectations really, but, you know, it's just something to get to go down there.
How long a ride is it?
It's about 7.5 hours from here.
Oh.
Probably about 20 degrees hotter.
At least you'll have plenty of humidity. Is it during, will it be during the week?
Yeah, it starts the 28th, 27th or 28th, and goes through the 1st, I believe. So,
Next Thursday and Friday.
No, Billy said y'all
We'll be
leaving the
leaving Wednesday
27th.
Okay. Well, thank you.
thank you.
Aaron, you're up.
Alright, thank you, Mr. Chairman. All of these items were recommended by the Budget Committee. There is a consideration of a request for a pay adjustment in the planning department. It's a step increase plus a level 2 erosion test, passing. So it's an amount of $3,000 that will go to an employee. There was a discussion of ARPA fund expenditures in District 5 for paving a parking lot and Beauty for Ashes, and legal fees reimbursement to the general fund. Both of these items will be split between Commissioner Shaver and Commissioner Morrison. There was a discussion of the funding that Mr. Satterfield referred to for the Greenback team. There was a consideration of a request for a fingerprint equipment at the jail for $20,700. There was a consideration of recommendation for 3 grants. The TCI grant for $15,000 at the Sheriff's Department with no matching funds. Petway grant for the libraries, $14,400 for the libraries, like I said, no matching funds. The mental health transport grant, I don't have an amount on that yet, but it's for the Sheriff's Department and it's no matching funds. There was a request to add travel into the Ag Department's request from the budget for FY24 in the amount of $5,000. And then there were amendments. In Fund 101, there's an amendment to correct the cost center for DOE 23 and add the balance of DOE 22, which is a grant. There's an amendment for the legal fees, an estimated amount for the entire year for the Lenore City annexation lawsuit. the amendment for the pay adjustment that I referred to earlier in planning. In the jail, there's the fingerprint equipment, and then there was a correction based on the request that amended the budgeted option to move 2 corrections guards to sergeants. One of those employees was already a corporal, so in order for him to move from corporal to sergeant, it actually was a reduction in the cost of that adjustment, about $1,400. There was a line adjustment in EMA of $742. It moved from other contracted services to an agreements line for radios. There was an amendment to adjust the DGA grant budget. When I put it into the salaries, I failed to put it in for the full amount of the grant, so this was just an adjustment to adjust that. At the senior center, there was amendments to add a license renewal line, operating lease, payments, copier, and postal charges. These lines were left off of the budget request for FY24. And then the travel line in the ag department, which was mentioned recently, earlier. In the public libraries fund, there's an amendment to remove $9,000 from revenue in Healthco Village Library. And then in ARPA funds, the amendments are to reestablish the appropriations that were established last year. However, they were not expensed or encumbered, so this is just reappropriating. In the highway department fund, the fuel tax revenue came in and the estimate was under what they had originally estimated, so it went down by $47,000. And in school capital projects fund, there was an amendment to reestablish the appropriation for the land purchase that happened recently. And then there were recommendations from the capital projects committee, a panic button system at the senior center, a reconfigure and build out new bench, witness stand and clerk area in courtroom number 2 for general sessions judge, and an asset management software in purchasing. And that's all.
Okay, well, that was enough.
I got a couple questions. Do we issue 990s for employees using county cars?
For,
Personal use?
no,
Are we supposed to?
if they're on call used for only for official business, then no.
Is that the policy?
That's, practice makes policy.
And then are all county cars supposed to have county emblems on
They have in the past, the new ones are aluminum, so they don't hold a magnet very well.
them? Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
You need to say a prayer for that lady right there. That's Morgan Vance. She lives in Vans District. That's the first prayer.
There you go.
But the second prayer is she has to work with me every day at the Pat Summit Foundation. She's going through leadership Loudon County. So she had the pleasure or requirement to come watch us, I guess, one night. So,
Wasn't voluntary.
well, it's kind of mandatory. So, say a prayer. A couple.
Get combat pay for working with Adam. Anything else?
Privilege to work with me.
Hey, we're done.
We're done.
Go
We'll call
home.
it adjourned.
What we like.
Okay.
I got a handful.
Oh, I know, we just wait until I put the kids to bed. We got friends here, we talk some friends. That's our fault.
Turn that camera on.
Yep.